What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Casey. This is my Jeep, and on this upload we're going to be fixing that damaged brake line that I had when I was out off-roading a couple weeks ago. If you remember, I broke that front stainless steel brake line and it ended up leaking fluid, and I had to pinch it off in order to get the Jeep off the trail, as I had no brakes when it was leaking. On my Jeep right now, I am running Rock Crawler extended stainless steel brake lines. They are the ones that came with my lift kit about 3 years ago. I think what is happening on the front is sometimes when my front is articulating down, the brake line is moving around, and when it's coming back up, it's getting pinched in the front springs. And over time, that has caused a bit of wear and damage that brake line and has caused it to start leaking. Now, the brake lines that I have on there right now are just 2-layer brake lines. So they have a Teflon inside core, and then they have a stainless steel wrap on the outside. What I'm going to be replacing them with is these upgraded Crown Automotive 5-layer extended brake lines for the Jeep JK. So what's really cool about these Crown Performance extended brake lines is their 5-layer design. They have a Teflon interior core like my other ones did, but on top of that they have a Kevlar braid layer, protection barrier layer, and then the stainless steel goes over top of that. Over top of the stainless steel is they have a UV protection layer. And this is kind of neat because you can get this in multiple colors. I have just black, but they also have them in clear, yellow, purple, orange, blue, red, green. And we all know how much we like to customize our Jeeps, so this is just another little touch that you could add to your rig if you're adding extended brake lines to it. In addition to the new brake lines, I picked up another product from Teraflex. These are a brake line anchor kit that they make. So basically what these are going to do is keep the brake line several inches away from the spring, and it's going to keep them in this little keeper and still allow me to be able to articulate the front end and have the brake line move, but it will keep it away from the suspension spring, and I should not have this issue again in the future. Let's get started with this install. It shouldn't take me too long. Replacing these brake lines is super simple. The longest part of this is probably just bleeding the brakes. Just a reminder, guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I would love to have you as a subscriber on the channel. And don't forget to watch the video all the way to the end. And if you enjoyed it, hit that like button. I do appreciate it. And it really helps me out with growing the channel. The first thing you're going to do is unbolt your brake line from your caliper. This is just a 13mm bolt. Mine's already out because I disconnected my brake line on the trail. And make sure that you have these 2 brass washers here and make sure they're clean before you put them back on. You're going to need those to form a tight seal. Basically, it's as simple as unbolting your brake line from the hard line up here by the frame. So with this out, we can get a good look at just what the damage was on this. We can now see the difference in the 2 brake lines. The black one is the Crown Performance, and this is the Rock Crawler that came with the Jeep. Now, this fitting here is supposed to be stronger and a one-piece fitting. It's supposed to be more reliable and durable. These brake lines are overall thicker. They're not quite as well, they move around pretty good, but they have more protective barriers to them than just the Teflon core and the stainless steel outer. So guys, there is a driver's side and passenger side to the brake lines. You want to make sure you have the right side. You can see that how these are bent differently, and when they're connected to the caliper, this should bend towards the body. So this is the driver's side here, and you can see if it's connected, the caliper's on this side, the bend is away from the caliper. So this is the passenger side we just pulled off. You can see the caliper would be on this side here, and it's going to bend away from the caliper towards the frame. So just make sure you don't make that mistake. when you're putting these on, they are side specific. Now don't forget guys, this brake line bolt that goes onto the caliper does have a torque spec. It is 31 foot-pounds. So I'm just going to grab the torque wrench, and then that way we can make sure that we have that torqued properly. Okay, so the way that these Teraflex holders work is they basically bolt onto your shock bolt, and then you're gonna mount your brake line into the keeper. You're gonna zip tie this on, and then it's gonna sit like that. And what this is gonna do is make sure that your brake line never will flex or bend in towards your springs. So we're just gonna undo the shock bolt really quick. We'll bolt that on. That'll keep it in place, and we should be good. So there we go. We just bolted this Teraflex brake line holder onto the shock bolt. I clipped it onto the brake line, and then I just put a couple zip ties here to hold this rubber piece in place so the brake line doesn't come out. And I reattached my sensor wire just with a couple zip ties, used the factory clamps, zip tied them so they don't come open. This one can slide up and down a little bit for when I'm flexing, and we torque this guy down. So now there's going to be a ton of air in the brake lines from basically draining out this whole section of brake fluid. So we're going to have to, obviously, we're going to have to bleed these brakes when we're done. Now you can bleed them by hand if you have somebody to help you. I have a pneumatic bleeder, which will just hook on to each of these little bleeder valves here. Just pull the cap off, and then I can attach the pneumatic bleeder, and that's basically just going to suck all the air and brake fluid through the lines and purge them really good. Alright guys, that pretty much wraps up the installation of these Crown Performance extended stainless steel 5-layer brake lines, which I think are a great upgrade over my previous stainless steel brake lines that I had from Rock Crawler. You want to make sure that you're running extended brake lines if you're running any sort of lift on your Jeep. I'll put the link down below in the description for the exact ones that I have, but these are extended brake lines. You want to make sure you're not putting any stress on your brake lines when your Jeep is articulating and flexing out. Otherwise you're going to have problems. I'll put a link down in the description to these Teraflex brake line holders as well. They're really cool. And if you have your extended brake lines, which have an extra amount of brake line in your wheel well, you don't want them flopping around and hitting your springs, because that is what happened to my previous ones on this front passenger side. So take a look at those guys. Make sure you're running extended brake lines on your Jeep and get some good quality ones. I recommend these Crown Performance ones. They're awesome, really good build quality. And yeah, check them out. If you guys aren't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Don't forget to share the video with your friends. I do appreciate it. And leave any comments or questions down below. I read them all, and I will answer any of your questions and help you guys out with whatever you need. Thanks so much for watching this week's video. Don't forget, new uploads every week. I'll see you guys in the next one.